By 1973, we were beginning to draw to a conclusion. We reviewed the economics and decided that we could make a decision and recommendation to the ad hoc committee on March the 30th, 1973. This decision was made at a rather lengthy meeting in San Francisco that lasted from January 4th through the 6th. At that meeting, companies were invited to make 20-minute presentations on their recommendation to the committee. It was at that point in time that it was becoming apparent that two of the families of codes, one being the linear barcode, which was fundamentally championed by IBM, and the second being the circle and semicircle, championed by RCA and Zellweger. And they later combined their efforts and decided that a semicircle was plenty good because you would get a linear pass across a radius of the semicircle and you didn't need the full circle. These two sets of candidates were emerging as the top candidates for the U.P.C. We didn't have a decision yet, but the data we were getting seemed to indicate that they made sense. The linear barcode appeared to use less real estate on the labels because it was denser than any of the circular type solutions. But in balance, it would require more computer power to decode. Linear barcode was picked, actually it was in two sections, a left and right section, and could have been decoded left to right on each half, and the left half could be read before the right half and vice versa. So it took a considerable amount of computer power to do that. I would say that prior to the San Francisco meeting, at best the two approaches, circular and linear, were about even in our consideration. Perhaps with the circular barcode having a slight advantage in the minds of many. Bob Evans from the IBM Corporation was the person who made the presentation in San Francisco. It was the first time we had seen Bob. He had 20 minutes and he had one of his project people with him. And he made what I regard as the seminal presentation of all that was done that day. In his 20 minutes, I'd say in probably the first 8 minutes or so of that, he did a summary that matched up so well with what we had been uncovering and discovering that it was kind of eerie. And then he pulled out of his pocket a round silicone disc. And he hit the nail right on the head when he said, now you're probably wondering just what we're going to do to be able to decode this at the check stand. The power of each integrated circuit on this disc is equal to some of the current moderate size computers of today. And we're going to use this power in each check stand to do the decoding. To this day, I regard Bob's presentation as one of the greatest stand-up single-man presentations I've ever seen on any technical subject. When IBM left the room and before the next presenters were brought in, Al Haberman said, quote, "My God, they've got it," end quote. I remember those words this day because what he did, what Bob Evans had done, was to defuse the major issue to the adoption of the linear barcode. We met again early in March, and then on March 29th and 30th, we met and agreed to adopt a modified linear barcode, which was the IBM solution, but we incorporated some modest changes to it, including defining OCRB as the human readable code, so that at some future point, if OCRB became very readable, we could eliminate the barcode in total. This was announced as, quote, the committee solution, end quote, to try to keep as many manufacturers as humanly possible in the running. We wanted competition in the symbol scanning equipment area. The ad hoc committee accepted the recommendation and announced the symbol on April 3rd, 1973. Subsequent to that, I went on and developed the coupon solution using the family codes, and I was pleased to be able to serve the board of the U.P.C. for about 20 years thereafter until my retirement in 1995. It's been a great project.